starting out in business, that will be a major driving force when it comes to showing up every day, even when it's actually not working. Because the thing is, only those who are consistent, only those who are persistent are the people that can tell the story of what success is. So that's someone that's looking for a get-rich scheme or get-rich quick effort or get-rich quick jump. Entrepreneurship is not something to do. Maybe the person start doing ritual or even people that are doing fraud, still not see. They tell us the story of, at least I've seen some guys that went to places before HK. Their blood was spent before they started making money. So it's a whole lot, not just of a very legit and profitable venture. It takes a whole lot. So we're going to be looking at motivation and employee performance. When we talk about employee in business, just the last thing that you are the first employee of your business. You are the first staff of your business. So whenever we talk about employee, you should not just look at others, people that are going to be employed into my business. I am the first employee of my business. So even me as the first employee of my business, I need to be motivated. There's need for motivation. There's need for motivation. So without much ado, we are going to be firing people and strongly into what we have for us today. Don't intend to waste much time. In an hour or an hour plus, we are done. So motivation is something that is a great no-brainer in business that you cannot do without. Because there are several times when you be discouraged, there are several times when you be tired, there are several times when you just feel like packing up and just rest. There are several times when you look as if, are you sure I was sent to do this? I just love doing it. I just felt like let me just do it. There will be a lot of times when you question your why. Your why is doing what you are doing. But if your why is very strong, there's no how you are going to stop doing what you are doing. Most of the time, the reason why many people cack out, the reason why many people give up is because their why is not strong enough. The why as touching what they are doing is not strong enough. So when the why is not strong enough, the results will begin to determine your mood, determine how much effort you take, determine the things you can do, determine how much you show up. So if you are doing something, you are posting your flyer for 6 months straight and you are not getting it, you still continue. That's when you now begin to realize your why is strong enough or not. That's where motivation comes in. And one very strong quality of an entrepreneur is that an entrepreneur is a very self-motivated person. They are so self-motivated to the point of delusion. They are self-motivated to the point where even if the whole world thinks that what they are doing does not make sense, they will keep doing what they are doing. They believe in their vision so much that there's nothing on the external that can derail them from pushing on what they expect and what they think is they are doing that's right. There's nothing on the external that can discourage them from doing what they are doing. Even results, which is also an external factor, cannot stop them from doing what they are doing. Entrepreneurs are highly self-driven, highly self-motivated, highly visionary people. Such that they may not be seeing the results now in the short term, but they know that it's just for them, it's a matter of time. They should just keep doing and reinventing and remodeling and re-strategizing. Surely one day it's going to happen. It may not be today, may not be next week, may not be 10 years time, but I will keep doing what I'm doing. That's the power of an entrepreneur. We hear about one of the most profound scientists and entrepreneurs in our generation, Elon Musk. Talked about the fact that when he was about launching SpaceX, he went to meet his mentors, people he looked up to in space exploration because he is an astronomical physicist. He went to look at Neil Armstrong and those other guys that were the first people that landed on the moon. And he went to meet them and told them, this is the idea I have. I want to make human beings interplanetary species, such that people can live in various planets within our solar system. And as we begin to reinvent and develop much more, they will begin to enter into other galaxies. And they told him he was a madman. It's not possible. No human being has ever thought about this. We cannot do it. I think we are born to do it. We cannot do it. We know what it took us to prepare for the Apollo 1, the Apollo expedition to the moon. And it took years for us to be able to achieve that thing. Let alone leaving Earth to Mars. The distance is very big and very far. We really don't have spacecraft that can do that kind of travel. But Elon Musk was not discouraged. All the other engineers on the engineers that he would have employed to work on that project, because of those men that devalidated Elon Musk's claims and discouraged him. They told him that they were not interested anymore. Elon said he had to take 6 months, look for textbooks, and he just had to motivate himself, and he began studying. At the end of the day, though he was not an engineer, actually became the chief engineer of that project. And now SpaceX is worth trillions of dollars. Actually, he's the first person that has been able to launch a rocket into space, and the rocket launcher came back and came to the dock from where it was launched. He's the first person. Nobody in the history of aviation or space exploration has ever done that. Why? Because he thought it was possible. He was a highly self-motivated person. All the people that said you are a madman, you cannot do this thing, they are the ones that are clapping for him now. He is unprecedented. That's the power of an entrepreneur, of someone that is highly driven, someone that is visionary. So we are going to the next slide. Motivation refers to the internal drive or desire that pushes an individual achieving personal or organizational goals. Motivation refers to the internal drive or desire that pushes an individual to act towards the achieving, to act towards the fulfillment of personal or organizational goals. It is what makes an employee work willingly, with enthusiasm, with passion. It is what makes an employee work willingly, with enthusiasm or passion. And that is Robbins and George, defined by Robbins and George 2020. So entrepreneurship is the motivation, motivation is the drive, the passion, the desire that pushes an individual to act properly, consistently towards the achievement of a personal or organizational goals. It is said that without motivation, there's nothing we can do. And motivation most of the times is not even emotional. Everything we do, for you to carry out any action, emotions have to be involved. For me to slap somebody, there must be emotion. Let me say an emotion of anger. For me to hug somebody, there must be an emotion of love and like. For me to eat, there must be an emotion. Whether you like it or not, even if you are very, very hungry, hunger is a very powerful driving force. Hunger, you can also call hunger motivation, because for you to want to do something, you have to be hungry for that thing. The result that thing will produce should be the hunger that drives you to doing what you are doing. One of the reasons why many people do what they do is because I want to be wealthy. I want to drive cars. I want to be able to be financially independent and pursue my dreams. For some of us, what we are doing now is not even our dream, but we are actually trying to sow seeds for us to be able to achieve our dreams. For some of us, the dreams we have require so much money to achieve those dreams, and you know that without having the money you need, you will not be able to even start out in achieving your dream. So most of the things we are doing now is just the foundation for the achievement of our dreams. For someone like me now, what I want to do in my life, I've not even started it. Why? Because there's a level of financial independence that you should have. I know that we can start from anywhere, we can start from where we are, but actually what I want to do is something that is very massive, that I will not need external sources in a way to really fund that thing I'm doing. So currently where I am now is like the foundation, the building blocks for achieving. Life is in phases and ladders. We have one step leads to another step, one step leads to another step, one step leads to another step, one step leads to another step. If you want to be a doctor, it's your dream, you have to go to school first. You cannot just wake up in the morning, write work, and enter the hospital with a stethoscope. So the various levels you go from year 1 to 2 to 3 in medical school is the various processes it will take you to achieve your dream of becoming a medical doctor. So in your year 1, you have a target. Okay, I want to pass my exams. That one in itself needs motivation. What will be the motivation for you to want to even pass your exam? Is because there's a vision you have in the future. That I want to be a doctor, I want to be a neurosurgeon. If I don't pass my year 1 exam, there's no how I'm going to become a neurosurgeon. So that becomes a motivation. So the reason why I'm reading to pass for my exam is because there is a bigger vision ahead that is driving me toward, that is driving me as regards trying to pass this exam. Because if I don't pass this first phase, I will not be able to get to the 10th phase. So life is in phases. And what gives you that greater drive to do what you are doing is seeing the vision ahead. The Bible said, let me quote the Bible. I'm a Christian and I believe we are Christians. If you are not a Christian, but the Bible is a very, very valid book, and it's very, very logical, and beyond the spirituality of the Bible, it's a very logical book. Entrepreneurship is in the Bible, business is in the Bible, a lot of things. Life skills is in the Bible. And one thing was referring to the central theme of the Bible, the central personality of the Bible, Jesus Christ. He said, let us all, in the book of Philippians, say, let all have the mind that Jesus Christ has. He said, let the mind that was in Christ Jesus, let that same mind be in you, who for the joy that was set before him. So Jesus also was motivated to go through some people will just think that he just died for free. No, he had a motivation. He had a desire. Who for the joy that was set before him, he endured the shame, despised the shame, he endured the cross. Why? Because he knew that if he can go through this suffering, go through this phase, there's a joy that is set before him. So for the entrepreneur, there's a joy that is set before you that gives you the motivation, the drive to keep showing up even when it's as if temporarily there's no results. So for you now, I'm going to be asking us here, and even you online, what is your drive? What is the joy that is set before you? What is that vision you have seen that is propelling you, that no discouragement, no temporary setback is enough to stop you from doing what you are doing? What is the why behind your what? What is the why behind the how? What is the why behind the what? The what now is your brand, your business, everything you have to do, your idea. That's the what. But what is the why? If the why is not strong enough, it's just a matter of time. You are going to give up. It's just a matter of time. When people start telling you that what you are doing does not make sense, you give up. But when your why is strong enough, that joy that is set before you, you can never give up. So it is what makes an employee or a person work willingly with enthusiasm. Let me add, whether there are results or not. Whether there are results or not. Whether there are results or not. So let's go to the next slide. So in business, motivated employees work harder, offer better customer service, stay longer in the organization, reduce staff turnover, and increase business profits. So when staff or employees are motivated, and we said you are the first employee, when you are motivated, you are going to work harder because you believe in what you are doing. You are not taking what you are doing as play, or you are not taking it for granted. Because you believe in what you are doing, and because your why is strong, you are going to put in the work hours. You are going to put in the man hours. You are going to work hard. You are going to be diligent as regards the vision that is before you, to ensure that it comes to pass, to ensure that it becomes success, becomes a success, becomes successful. So, number 2, you offer better customer service. Number 3, you stay longer in the organization. So staff don't just leave anyhow. You don't just give up anyhow because you believe in what you are doing. Then there's increased business profit. So if you can do this, business profit is going to be the normal results that will come out. The next slide. So major theories of motivation. Number 1, the first theory is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow was a very strong behavioral psychologist, and was able to grade human, especially when it comes to desire and fulfillment in life. He was able to grade human desires into various categories. And then Abraham Maslow proposed that people are motivated by a hierarchy of needs arranged from basic to advanced. The most basic is survival mode. Every normal human being, every normal average adult is first, Mr. Israel, welcome, is first in the survival category. What will I eat? What will I wear? What will I drink? That is the basic of every person. Survival mode. So if a person is able to graduate from basic needs, housing, shelter, feeding, you go to the next phase. So Abraham Maslow was able to successfully categorize human desires into various hierarchy, and he began to explain to us how human desires are motivated, what motivates what people do. You are able to now know, okay, this person is currently at this phase, this person is currently at this category, this person is currently at this category. Someone that is financially independent, there's a level of motivation. There's something, when you see what drives them, it's different from what drives someone that is still at survival mode. So let's go to the next. It's okay. Levels of Maslow's need from bottom to the top, from the least to the greatest. Number one is physiological needs. Physiological needs include salary, food allowance, rest periods, shelter, etc. Those are physiological needs. So if a person has this thing, to some extent, the person is able to. And the truth is, that is currently what the current system that Nigeria, the average Nigerian is experiencing, is actually designed. It was not by mistake. Like you see everybody just hustling. The things that Nigerians need, actually, the 80% of what we pray in church, if you really look at it and itemize your prayer point, 80% of your prayer point, if you are a Christian or even a Muslim, 80% of your prayer point is actually what government can do. 80% of our prayer points, good roads, lights, food. There are actually things that when the government fix them today, you will just realize that you don't really have any. That's how many of our brothers and sisters, when they travel out to countries where things are working, they will begin to question Christianity, like, or question religion. Why are we doing what we are doing? 80% of the things an average Nigeria pray for are basic things that if a working government is on ground, they will not have those kind of things as issues. Will not have them as issues. So the average Nigerian is not even asking for too much. If you look at it in context, the average Nigerian is not asking for too much. Just make food affordable. We don't even want the lights too much safe. Don't even give us too much electricity. Let food just be affordable. Let people be able to eat. The average Nigerian will be okay. We know that human needs, according to Leonel Robinson in economics, that human needs are insatiable. Resources are limited, but human needs are unlimited. So when Ms. Ose now starts having 100 million naira every month as a consistent revenue, she will just begin to realize that 100 million naira is still not enough. It's the truth. It's still not enough. That's why we heard a song by Burna Boy. Said Dangote is still looking for money. Why is he still looking for money? Some of us, if we have half of the money Dangote has, you will just think that you will not work again in this life. Until you have that money, you just realize that it's still not enough. You still have needs that you need more money, bigger than the one you have now to solve. So 100 million naira, you have needs of 1.5 billion naira. If you wanted that, so when I was having 50k, I thought if I have 300,000 naira, my life would just be better. 300,000 naira has come, and you begin to see that things you were not looking at before, you now begin to look at them. You are in a 3-bedroom apartment inside the CO. You are just there managing yourself. At least 400k, 700k, you are taking care of yourself every month. Then suddenly you started having 3 million naira every month. And you just realize that this house is not fine. You used to like the house. You just woke up and say, oh, I'm tired of this house. This area is also local. I want to go inside GRA, a better place. Then you are now looking at 1.5 million naira, a 1.5 million naira apartment. Then you get there and you start making 100 million naira. You believe you just tired. You say, I want to go to Lekki. I don't tire for this bill. That's how it works. That's how it works. So it's like that. So, but at the very, 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 very basic rung on the ladder of human needs and desires, physiological needs are and the truth is, these physiological needs are actually what affects, to some extent, even the basic self-esteem of a person. The basic self-esteem of a person. When we were growing up then, when Christmas was still Christmas, not now that people really don't do Christmas anymore. Pre-social media era. Christmas like this, by this time November, people's parents are already entering market to buy clothes. And if your mom, your parents do not have money to buy, there's a way you begin to look at yourself. And the truth is, many of those issues that happen to people that do not have money then when they were growing up, it still affected their self-esteem even till now. They are trying to unlearn the inferiority complex that poverty built into them. Basic needs that every other person had, you do not have them. Your mates are buying new clothes, you are just managing. They go and buy a okrika for you. You just manage it. Your mom will wash the scent away from it, that the aloko scent. We need to call it aloko, but don't select. Every other person is buying new Timberland. They are looking for one okrika to buy for you. And somehow you just begin to see yourself less. At least for someone like me, I experienced it a lot. It was not funny. You just begin to see yourself less. And these things are called physiological needs. Physiology involves the body and the function of the body. Things like food, things like salary. If there's no salary, if there's no money, you can't buy food. things like shelter, basic things every normal human being has or needs. Shelter, these are basic things. These are things you cannot do without. You can do without all these other ones per se, but you cannot do without feeding because it's your body, you need it. You cannot do without water, something to drink, you need it. You can't do without where to sleep or where to stay. So even if you don't have a good cloth, you don't have good clothes to wear, but needs like shelter, they are non-negotiable. You cannot do without them. So that's the most basic of human needs. And this in itself also has a way to motivate you. This in itself, every human being falls into any of these categories. Every human being, from the poorest to the richest, every one of us fall into these basic categories. So the second category is safety needs. Safety needs, security, job security. So someone now does not have a job, he's already scared, he does not know what tomorrow holds. He's concerned, what do I eat? Where will I get money from? Where will my next meal come from? Security, job security, consistent cash supply, it comes from this security. That's currently one of the major dilemmas or major tragedies that graduates in Nigerian society are facing. Growing up when we are much younger, our parents will tell us that in our time when you go to school, as even when you are in 300 level, you are doing, let me use a course like engineering, mechanical engineering. When you are in 300 level, oil companies are coming from Delta State, from all the oil producing states, and they are coming to different universities to look for employees. First class students, second class, upper students. So students were motivated to study hard because they knew that immediately you finish, something must be given to you, or your university will decide to retain you as a lecturer. You could not just graduate with a first class or a second class upper and be stranded. In my own set, 2021 in the University of Benin, civil engineering, only one class will produce 13 first class. That is just one university. And we have several, and in their time, universities were not plenty like this, they were very few. You just have few universities. In the whole South, you have like 3 universities. But now, if you count the number of state universities alone in Nigeria, there are plenty. Not talk of number of federal universities, and they are still creating more universities. They are not talking about the private universities. They are not talking about the polytechnics. So if you just see the number of first class we have in a single calendar year, how many jobs are there to even handle first class students? They are not talking about second class upper, just first class students. In my set, chemical engineering produced 19 first class in one class. The set are graduated before them, some of them are still preparing to go for service. Another set has produced 19 first class. The set after them produced another 10-15 first class. So at the end of the day, the average graduate does not even have any security for himself. And you are not looking at it as, it's as if people that didn't even go to school, that learned a trade and became very successful there, that became serious with their trade, are even doing better than so-called graduates. It's so pathetic. It's so disheartening. It's so disheartening. So a lot of my secondary school classmates, that we were pitying them because their parents did not have what it took to take them to university. They started learning one trade. By the time we were in year 3, we were already free. They started doing something with the trade. By the time we graduated, they were already having boys working under them. And now they are doing very, very well. Meanwhile, they are scholar and more privileged classmates in secondary school that went into university. Some of them are just trying to find their feet after university. And it's very, very painful. Why? Because there is no job security. There's no job security. So safety needs includes job security, safe working condition, employee benefits, and even general human well-being. Like in Nigeria now, one major need an average Nigerian needs, especially in the north side of Nigeria, is security. So because most of the times you really don't even know what tomorrow holds. You can be in your room and somebody wakes up and starts shouting one thing and they start shooting, and someone that has a lot of plans for his life has lost his life. So security, safety needs is one of the major needs according to Abraham Maslow. The third is social needs, the need for belonging, the need for teamwork, friendship, supportive environment. We can also call this psychological needs. How people see you, your status in the society, These are social needs. And 80% of the times, the reason why we do a lot of the things we do is because of social needs. Social needs and esteem needs, they are very similar. Because there's a level of class you need to attain. There's a level of success you need to get for you to be able to qualify to enter into some level of social status or some social strata in the society. For you to be friends with Dangote, there's a level of value you need to have gathered for you to say you are his friend. For you to be a friend of a billionaire, you to some extent have to be a billionaire, or you have things that billionaires need. That's social needs. So naturally, by achievement, human beings are graded into various social statuses or into various social classes in society. So there are certain circles currently, as I am now, that I may not be able to enter. If I go to those places, they may bounce me out from those places. But there are some specific people, when they get to that place, without even introducing themselves, the bouncer will be the one to welcome them inside. Why? Because of their social status. How people see them. How people see them. That's how it works. So, a lot of times, these things are the motivations that make us do the things we do. There's a book I read, Why People Do the Things They Do. Why people behave the way they behave. Why people act the way they act. Is most times with respect to these things. The next one is esteem needs. Esteem needs. Why do I work? Why do I want to be a billionaire? Why do I want to be wealthy? 80% of the times, most of the times, esteem needs are part of it. Because the truth is, most people, the way human beings are created is that 80% of the times, people find their sense of being by how others see them. How others see them. When you walk into a room and everybody is respecting you, there's a level of fulfillment you feel when you when you are in that situation, and you will not get there without working. So most of the time, what motivates you is to be like this. For example, now we have two greats in our generation, two football greats, and every football lover is either a fan of one or fan of the other person. And one of them majorly, although I'm not his fan, Cristiano Ronaldo, but I love his mentality, is that he grew up in a society where he was impoverished, there was poverty, and he had passion for football. And one of his major drive was to become one of the greatest. That is an esteem need. I don't just want to be a footballer that will just pass away and nobody will remember me. There are many people that have played football that we don't even know their names until they call their name and I say, oh, this guy used to play football. But there are specific people that are footballers that even if you don't like football, you must know them. That is an esteem need. He wanted to become among those people that you don't need to like football. Once they call my name, once they call football, the first person that comes to your mind is CR7. You must know that name. You don't need to like football. I don't need to like basketball, but once you call Michael Jordan, I know he's talking about basketball. I don't need to. There are many people that have played basketball in his time, but I don't even know them. You call their names now, I don't know them. So a lot of times, what motivated those people to do what they did was because of esteem needs. They need to stand out, to create a name that is legacy across generations. Across generations. Across generations. That's how it works. So you hear people like Abraham Lincoln. Every president wants to be like Abraham. Every American president wants to be like Abraham Lincoln. Why? Because that name, there are many presidents, but he is like the standard of excellence as regards presidency in America. Everybody wants to meet up to that legacy that he created. Abraham Lincoln. So that is an esteem need. A lot of times these things drive us. When you hear things like, what name do you want to leave for your children? It's an esteem need. Do you want your children to inherit a name that when they call it, nobody even knows them? There are many people that just by calling their name, doors have been opened to them. There are many people just by calling their name. You just come and say, I came because, or I came by the authority of this person, or this person sent me. There are a lot of possibilities that will be open onto a person. While some other people, by just saying you are related to this person, there are a lot of doors that will be closed to you because of their name. So, esteem needs involves recognition, awards, promotion, respect. Every human being, inherent in every human being's nature. It is said in psychology that inherent in every human being's nature, every human being loves being respected. Every human being longs for respect. Every human being longs for respect. So 80% of the times, the reason why you are doing what you are doing, in your subconscious, you can say, why am I doing this business? Okay, I love fashion. I love helping people wear fine clothes. That is just on the surface. That's what your cognitive mind can define. But in your subconscious, it is way deeper than that. It's way deeper than that. 80% of the time you say, why do you want to be a billionaire? I want to be a billionaire because I want to leave inheritance for my children. I don't want my children to suffer the way I suffer. 80% of the time, those things are also esteem needs. Because if you grew up in a society or in a family where your parents were nobodies, in the society nobody knew them. When they are talking in family meeting, they don't even listen to what your father will say. When you grow up in that kind of environment, one of the motivations you have is that thing in itself is affecting your esteem. And you want to be like, I don't want to be like my father. I want to raise my father's name. I want it to be that even if he as a person nobody respected him, because of me, when they call his name, people will begin to listen to him. That is an esteem need. And it's also one major driving factor why we do what we do. If these things are removed from priority, if these things are removed from why you do what you do, you will never have motivation to do what you are doing. Sometimes the reason why you even want to keep showing up is somewhere in your mind. You don't want to look like someone that is failing. I launched a brand yesterday, and 3 days time or 1 month time or a year time, I've left the business. People begin to look at me in one kind. So that I don't look as if I gave up. I want to keep doing what I'm doing. It's an esteem need. So the need for recognition, awards, respect. Then we have self-actualization need. Very few people get to this point. See, if you don't live survival mode, you will not really know what you want to do in life. The truth is, 80% of the time, most human beings die. At most, they die at this point or this point. Someone that even died at this point, where you have been recognized, you have gotten awards, you have been promoted, you are respected in the society. That's some people's apex. That's where they just plateau, the rest. But very few get to a point of self-actualization. When they get to that point where they are no longer thinking of what do I eat, what do I wear, that point, the things that drive people, the things that motivate people don't motivate them anymore. You see, by that time, what they are now looking at, they are looking at something bigger than even them, because everything they have on their bucket list as regards their life, they have ticked everything. I want to travel to Maldives, they've ticked it. I want to buy a yacht, they have ticked it. I want to own a private jet, they've ticked it. I want to meet with the president of America and shake him and eat together with him. He has ticked it. There's nothing that he's looking for that was his motivation from the beginning when he was poor that he has not achieved. He has achieved everything. I want to become a billionaire, a multi-billionaire in dollars. He has ticked it. At that point in time, what now drives him is different from what drives the average person. What drives him is different from someone like Jeff Bezos. He has resigned or he has retired as the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of Amazon. He has given it to someone else. At this point, that's where you can now say he's beginning to live in self-actualization. He has achieved everything any human being can think of. Now he's now pursuing the things that interest him. 80% of the times we have not even started pursuing the things that interest us. All you are still doing is what to eat, what to drink. Somehow you are owning it as what interests you. But when you begin to achieve those things you are looking for, you begin to realize that even those things you think that are your why, that are your purpose currently, they are not actually your purpose. So it is the apex of human satisfaction to get to the point of self-actualization. That's why you see some of them, when they have gotten to that apex, they'll just tell you that I'm willing everything I have to charity. They'll just dash everything out. Because they've tasted wealth, everything they are looking for, they've gotten everything. And they began to realize that these things to some extent cannot satisfy me. I need to look for something deeper. That's how it works. Self-actualization. This is where I actually want to get to in my life. That's where I want to get to. Not just to get recognitions, awards, but opportunity for personal growth, leadership roles, decision-making processes, and a whole lot of things. That's how it works. There's one of the greatest actors in Hollywood. A point came after he has won Oscars. He always loved acting right from when he was a small child. So Oscars is like the For you to win an Oscar, it means that's one of the apex of acting in the world. You won multiple Oscars. Some actors, as good as they are, they've not even gotten one, but he has gotten multiple Oscars. And the point came, and just realized that, let me just leave the scene. That's everything he had to charity, and he started living a very normal life. He just went back to how he would have loved to live his life if there was no need for me to make money and to make a point with my life. He gave everything out, started wearing normal clothes, going to supermarkets. All his bodyguards, he told them to go, settled everyone. He started living his life normally, because everything that was the motivation for him doing what he has been doing, he just realized that those things were not actually the reason for his existence, and he gave everything out. He has achieved everything, and he started living life the way he would have lived it if there was no need for you to achieve any of these things. That's self-actualization. All right, so people become motivated when employers supply what they currently lack. Let's look at ourselves now currently. Which of these points are you? Some people are still stuck in this place, and some people will die actually, start their life here and end here. All they are looking for is what to eat, what to drink, what to wear. That's what they will live from day one to the end. 80% of the times, people that work in 9 to 5s, civil servants, most of them, this is where they end. From paycheck to paycheck, from paycheck to paycheck. You do 35 years, you retire, start looking again for pension to pension, from pension to pension. You go and you die. That's the most basic form of human existence. So that, I believe that's even one reason why you decide not to be like them. You want to be an entrepreneur, because it gives you some level of freedom to do things you want to do. Because as an entrepreneur, they said that 80% of the times it's only entrepreneurs that can get to this point. From survival mode to self-actualization mode, only an entrepreneur can get to this point. If you are working in a company, the highest you can get to, except you have a very bigger mindset, you end here, where you get recognition, awards, respect. You end in esteem needs. People know you, that you are a very, very great, maybe you are the prime minister of your ministry, or you are the permanent secretary of your ministry. You get a lot of recognition, or you were a judge in the Nigerian judiciary system. You end here. Some people, is when they retire from those big positions that they will not start doing this thing, self-actualization. So we are not trying to say if you are doing a 9 to 5, you are working for the government, you can also actualize yourself. But you should begin to look at beyond my salary and beyond my, I want to be earning 1 million naira every month. What else was I called to do? What else was I called to do? What else was I called to do? So people become motivated when employers supply what they currently lack. The next slide, sir. We have Herzberg's two-factor theory. Frederick Herzberg identified hygiene factors prevent dissatisfaction. Hygiene factors prevent dissatisfaction, but do not motivate. Hygiene factors such as salary, work, job security, they prevent dissatisfaction, but they do not motivate. So basically, we say when one musician said money does not give happiness, some people thought it was joking. That guy has the right to say that word because he too has made money to some extent. So most people that have not made money are like, stop saying that rubbish, stop saying that rubbish. Until we too now begin to make money and you begin to realize. I watched a documentary by Will Smith, and Will Smith was saying being born into an America where blacks were very, very, very much traumatized, blacks were discriminated, blacks were segregated. That was the era he was born into, where the white people will be in a bus, a black man cannot enter that bus. That was the generation he was born into. So an average black American was born in that generation with low self-esteem. They just felt we are second-class citizens. We are not important. We are just like the slaves. But one thing that began to motivate them most of the times, it has been seen that across human history, that human beings are begin to produce greater possibilities through their life when they are most pressured. When they are most pressured. When they are most pressured. Two things happen when a person is most pressured. Either he is motivated to go beyond the status quo, or he just settles for less. But 80% of the times in black American history, many of them were pressured to become better than. They wanted to prove the white people wrong, that we can be better than the way people see us. These us that people are looking at, we are non-entities, we don't mean anything, we are just mere slaves to you. We want to make this, we want to come to that point where America cannot do without us. If you begin to hear the name of America, entertainment, sports, it is through us, the blacks, that America will become great. So many of them were motivated. One of them was someone like Will Smith. He said he grew up wanting to prove all his white classmates wrong, that he was not as non-entity as they thought he was. And he developed passion for comedy and acting. Started acting. And recently he was doing a documentary podcast and was saying that his prayer is that every human being should just make wealth. That's his prayer. And every human being just begin to realize that the same dissatisfaction you felt when you do not have money in your account is still the same dissatisfaction you are going to feel when you have billions in your account. That's what he was trying to say. That his prayer is, if it was possible for God to just do it, if it was possible for God to do that, every human being should be wealthy. That money you want to make, you should just make that money. Then you just begin to realize that this money is not really the satisfaction I need. There is more to life than just this thing. God will bless us, every one of us, to get to that point. It's actually a good point to be, where you make so much money and you just realize that money is not actually the summation of this life. There is more to life. So hygiene factors prevent dissatisfaction but do not motivate. So salary, if you have salary, you're always making salary, you're always getting money, it does not necessarily motivate you to do better. Work environment does not necessarily motivate you to do better. Job security does not necessarily motivate you to do better. One of the ways you see these things is sometimes in civil service, where people will tell you government work now show that they put on for head. They get salary every month. Many of them are not suffering, they are trying, but you see that there's no motivation. Motivation is what gives you that passion to want to come to work, that passion to want to do the work you are doing. So what makes you enjoy what you do? That's motivation. So we see a lot of people that are receiving salaries, but they don't necessarily enjoy what they are doing. So, and when you don't enjoy what you are doing, there's a very low ceiling of productivity you can make out from what you are doing. There's only people that enjoy what they are doing that can be very productive in what they are doing. So if you are doing something just to make ends meet and just to eat every day, you are just going through the motions, you are really not motivated. You are just doing it because you know if you don't do it, there will be no food on the table. So let me just be doing it. I really don't like the job, but what man go do? I go see food chop tomorrow. Now this one will give me. Make I just manage. With that mindset, nobody can actually reach the peak of their productivity. Then we have hygiene factors, we have motivators. Hygiene factors in themselves are not bad, they are very important for human sustenance. But beyond hygiene factors, you should go into the point where you are now motivated. So that's where motivators come in. Motivators are those things that inspire employees to work harder. Example includes recognition, achievement, responsibility, promotion. This one begins to satisfy the emotional or esteem needs of people. The esteem needs of people. So that's your staff that did something well and you reached out to the person and you're like, wow, you're amazing. Or you are doing an event and you call the person out and you give the person an award, no matter how small it is, that thing is motivation for the person, because the person begins to feel like I am seen in this place. People actually see what I'm doing and they value what I'm doing. They love what I'm doing. That in itself is a motivator. That's why they say one of the greatest ways to kill a person's self-esteem is to constantly criticize them without actually pointing out good sides of them. At least growing up as a person, my mom, I love her so much. She really did not understand this thing. My mom is a perfectionist that wants everything done perfectly. So if you don't do it the way she wants you to do it, she will always criticize you. But my dad thank God for him, he was the opposite of her. My dad will capitalize more on your good sides and begin to correct you from under. My mom was always as if she does not see anything good to do, because you cannot do it as good as she wants you to do it. And at some point, the thing affected me to some extent. Thank God for my dad. He was the one that was always counterbalancing that thing she was doing. So you cook something, even if everything was okay and there was just small salt in your put, she will tell you, this food know your good. She will make you feel like just that one thing is we did the worst thing in the world. And thank God for my dad. When it comes to cooking, my mom is a good cook, but my dad is also, let me just say, on a scale of 1 to 10, my dad is 10/10, my mom is 9/10 when it comes to cooking. For someone like that to still praise you with the spoil you cook, it means that to some extent he is seeing the good side of you. He will tell you can do better. When I'm cooking, come and look at me the way I'm doing it. He actually helps me. Why? Because somehow my mom had good intention. She wanted me to be good, wanted me to be better, wanted me to be a man that can take care of myself. But that constant criticism began to affect my self-esteem. So when you are constantly criticizing your staff, some of us we are too hard on ourselves. We don't give ourselves credit at all. It's easy for you to compliment someone else. I love the way you are doing your brand. I love the way you look. But when it comes to praising yourself, you don't even praise yourself. You just feel somehow that I know I'm a fine guy. I'm just there. I'm okay. You don't praise yourself, and somehow you don't know that thing is affecting you. Sometimes give yourself credit. You are not bragging. You are just trying to help yourself. I'm beautiful. I am intelligent. This thing I'm doing is amazing. Many people cannot do this thing. Praise yourself. Like I said you are the first employee of your business. Motivate yourself too. Don't always see the negative things about you that you are not doing right. That content, my English was not clear. The brand, the flyer not too nice. You are always seeing bad things. It's not bad to always give yourself appraisal. But once and again, still look at the good sides of yourself and enjoy it, marinate in it, stew in it, enjoy it. It's very, very important, because at the base of every human activity, the need for respect, the need for recognition, the need for acknowledgement by yourself and by other people is at the base of it. Because one truth is that if you are able to come to that point where you are seeing your own self-worth and you are seeing your own personal value, even if from the outside nobody is validating you, you are not discouraged. A lot of people, they have become so unsure of themselves, they have become so how am I going to say, they don't give validation to themselves, to a point that it's only external validation that now decides whether they are good or they are bad. But me, I've met some guys, if you like, tell them say you are not fine, he doesn't care about you. I met a lady too like that. If you like, you tell her she's not fine, she say, now your eye are not fine, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I am fine to other people. Even if everybody tells them they are not fine, tells her she's not fine, she doesn't care. She believes that she's the finest girl in the world, which may not be true, but that's her own way she's telling herself the truth. She believes she's the most intelligent girl in the world. That's her motivation. So even if the whole world feels she does not know what she's doing, she doesn't care. She keeps doing what she's doing. She takes the good from the criticism and throw away the negative from it. It is very important. So we are not trying to say you should not like to be criticized. Criticism in itself is a good way of learning. It's not as if you should not criticize people or appraise people's work or tell people what they are doing wrong. We are not trying to say you should not do that. You should not fall into the extreme of over-appraising people and not criticizing people. There's constructive criticism. But don't be that kind of person that always sees negative things. Always seeing negative things about you and about every other person. So beyond the salary, some people you see some guys will say, don't I used to pay you salary? Why are you not motivated? Why are you not doing your work? They don't realize that it's not just a thing of salary. Even in the home too, you see some fathers. Don't I used to pay your school fees? Every time you need school fees, I pay for you, but they are not always there. They don't realize that it's beyond just paying school fees for the child and beyond providing for them, buying them clothes. Human beings don't just need physiological needs, they also need psychology. They also have psychological needs. And most of the times, it is the person that is feeding your psychological needs that you esteem more than the person that is even feeding your physiological needs. So someone is always buying for you, doing things for you, but you see that you are more tilted emotionally towards the one that is always there for you psychologically. When you need emotional strength, the person is there for you. When you need someone to run to and cry on their shoulders, the person is always there for you. Most of the times, the person that is always sponsoring your food, everything, you will love the person that is always there for you psychologically more than the one that is there for you physiologically. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how some time ago, I was asking my dad, because that man is a man I love so much. I love so much. And I was asking him that, why is it that men don't get much credit for what they do? This is not me being gender. I'm not trying to create a gender stuff, but it's just the truth. Even me that is a man, sometimes I'm more tilted towards my mom than my dad. Why is it always like that? And my dad is a very unsentimental and unemotional person. It was like, the truth to be told, many times men are not always there for their children psychologically. They are always there for them physically, financially. Mothers are the ones that are always there for you psychologically. They always show up. From when you were in the womb, the bond has already started. That psychological bonding from the womb. They are always there for you. Mothers are more emotionally attached to their children than fathers. Not as if fathers are not emotionally attached, but the kind of emotions mothers show to kids is different from the kind of emotion fathers show. Father most times could be a little bit detached. But mothers are always there. They show you that care, they show you that love, they talk you in the bed. When daddy goes to travel, your mom is always there, she cooks for you. You are not fine, she takes care of you. Somehow your emotions are attached to your mom because she's meeting your psychological needs beyond your physical needs. So that's why it's always like that. You see, men are more biased to their mother, sometimes even more than their spouse, because of the amount of years of emotional investment their mom has invested in them. It's like that. So that is psychological need. So human beings, as a good employer, of labor, you should be someone that should be able to know each of your employees as much as possible. If your employee number is not much, if your employee number is becoming too much that you cannot necessarily handle them on your own, you should not create systems where beyond just their hygiene factors, increasing their salary, promoting them, you should be able to meet their psychological needs. And one of the major psychological needs of human beings is the need of people recognizing them, the need of people making them feel seen, not looking as if they don't know what they are doing, making every of your staff, every of your employee, make them realize that you are important to me, not just to my business. As a person, you are important to me. I see what you are doing, I see the contributions you are making to this business, and I respect you for it. It gives them a sense of motivation that even normal money cannot give them. It is very, very important. That's why they will tell you that as a person, sometimes take yourself out. You make so much money, but you are not really, you are just thinking about your business. What do I take yourself out and tell yourself the truth that me self try. You know, easy. January to December or more, work. Let me still tell myself, say I try. Take yourself to one eatery, feed yourself, eat well, and give yourself the applause you deserve. It's not easy. So it is very, very, very important. So if hygiene factors are poor, employees complain. Hygiene factors are salary, work environment. Employees will complain the salary is not enough, the work environment is too toxic, there's no time for rest, every time you just work. They will complain. Say, but if motivators are present, employees deliver excellent performance. That's why they say that good employers of labor are good psychologists. Very, very good psychologists. If you want to be a good employer that knows how to work with people, you have to understand human psychology and how it works. Human psychology and how it works. I was listening to the woman that owns Chanel bags, Chanel clothes. We know Chanel now. It's a brand of fashion and jewelry and those things. Chanel. She was like, she knew that the vision she had is highly dependent on people working for her. So she took her time and began to master human psychology. And she mastered it to a point that she began to teach herself not to forget people's names. So she said that for up to about 800 of her employees, she knows them by name. She knows their birthdays. She may not be the one to send them the happy birthday text, but she knows their birthday. When she meets her employee like this, she'll call you your first name, your last name. She'll tell you, just someone of that caliber recognizing my first name and my last name. It gives you some sense of recognition that, wow, this person knows me. This person sees me. This person, just someone, I'm walking on the road now, I introduce myself to somebody. It has happened to me before. I introduce myself to somebody. And let me say 6 months later, I met the person after 6 months. And the person still remembered my name, remembered everything. It gives me a sense of, wow, this person really cares about me. Because for you to remember my name, it means somehow I'm important to you. So if the factors are poor, sometimes, especially when you are just starting out in your business, you may not have the big salary to pay your staff. But one of the greatest tools and assets you can have as an employee is to know how to motivate. How to make your employees see that although there's no money on ground, we really don't have much to give you. But your work is very important and this business needs you. You may not always say it with your mouth, but your actions can say the thing. It gives them a sense of being, a sense of ownership in the business. It is very, very important. That's why we say never look down on anybody, never underestimate anybody, never talk down on anybody. It is one great factor in life, because you may not even know that it's even that employee today that may become the helper you need tomorrow for your business. Never talk down on anybody, never look down on anybody. It is very, very important. The next slide. Number 3. So we are looking at the various theories of motivation. McGregor's theory X and theory Y. Douglas McGregor categorized employees into two assumptions. These guys are what we call behavioral psychologists. Okay, now behavioral psychologists, how human beings behave and how it affects what they do. Douglas McGregor categorized employees into two categories, into two assumptions: theory X, theory Y. Theory X, theory Y assumes people dislike work and must be pushed or controlled. Theory X, theory Y assumes people dislike work and must be pushed or controlled. It also assumes people enjoy work, take initiative, and are self-motivated. At the end of the day, these two things are two sides of the same coin. People dislike work and must be pushed or controlled. People also enjoy work, take initiative, and are self-motivated. So as an employee or as an employer, sorry to say, you need to understand how to balance these 2 points. There's something in human behavior that is called inertia, and it was borrowed from Newton's first law of motion. It's also called the law of inertia. He said the body will continue to remain in a state of rest or uniform motion except it is acted upon by an external force. Once that force begins to act on the body and the body begins to move, the second law of motion sets into place, which is called the law of momentum. That the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied, and it will take place in the direction of the applied force. Then that leads you to the third law of motion. The laws are just moving into each other. Action and reaction are equal and opposite. Or for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. If you understand these things, it applies much more even in human psychology. Every human being will continue to remain at one spot or continue doing one thing except to act an external force. What we now call the external force is what we call the motivational force that propels you to begin to do things that he has not been doing before. So this fan will continue to roll at this speed. Currently now, this fan is moving at what we call uniform motion. But as an employer, you don't want your system to run most times continually on uniform motion. Uniform motion means that the velocity is constant, it does not change. If it's running at 15 meters per second, it's running at 15 meters per second. Even if for 1 hour, as far as the light, the voltage is constant, it will continue running like this. But if I increase it or if I decrease it, the velocity will change, it will reduce. If I increase it, the velocity will increase. So what increases velocity or what we call momentum or decreases momentum is the motivational factors. So McGregor assumed that every human being is like an object. It will continue to remain in a state of rest. It will continue to be unmotivated. It will continue to just be in one place until you push it or you control it. So you now have to understand what to do to push your staff to begin to move the way you want them to move. Because naturally speaking, no human being likes work. There's actually nobody that likes work. Left for me, I just want to be in my house, chill, watch Netflix. As far as money dey my account, I don't get wahala. There's constant lights, there's data. Hey, what I need again for my life? I'm good to go. So what will motivate me is I don't want to leave, I don't want to die and just leave my children stranded. That will be the motivation that will make me want to stand up in the morning. Normally speaking, no human being likes to wake up and just leave their bed, wake by 6 o'clock. I want to sleep till 12 p.m. in the afternoon. Nobody likes work. Nobody actually does. So he said that you have to assume that normally nobody likes to work. So human beings have to be motivated, have to be pushed. Sometimes it does not have to be a direct control. It has to be psychological. It has to be psychological. Also, you have to also assume that people enjoy work, people take initiative, and people are self-motivated. Human beings generally fall into these two categories, and you fall into it consistently. It is something that happens intermittently, once and again. Sometimes you are motivated to work, sometimes you are just tired, you don't want to work. So when you are tired and you don't want to work, then there needs to be an external force that will motivate you to work and put you in momentum. Then when you are constant and being constantly in momentum is also destructive to your body. That's when we call someone a workaholic. You are always working. Sometimes you have to deactivate and relax. So you as an employer, you have to know when to push your staff to go the extra mile. I want to also tell them to calm down. You have to understand this basic human psychology. when I was studying physics, I just saw that beyond every matter which involves you and I, we are matter too. Just that we are intelligent matter. We are matter that has brain. Every matter obeys the laws of physics, whether both in the mechanics of it or in the psychology of it. Every matter obeys the law of physics. It is very, very important. So theory X and theory Y. Theory X is that people assume that people dislike work, just like an object in a state of rest, and must be set in motion. External force has to be acted on it for the body to begin to move or begin to work. It also assumes that everybody enjoys work, can be self-motivated, and can take personal initiative. So leadership style, autocratic leadership style, is what causes people to not want to work. Human beings naturally don't like control. If you are someone that is very controlling, people will not like you. I was listening to a podcast. There's a man that wrote a book called The Prince. His name is called Niccolo Machiavelli. How many of us have heard of Niccolo Machiavelli? Niccolo Machiavelli is one of the fathers of dark physiology. And a lot of time when he wrote the book The Prince, they said he was later. But there was one thing Niccolo Machiavelli spoke about. He said people don't necessarily obey or love the people they respect. People ultimately love the people that they fear. They obey the people they fear. And what makes a person fear you? Fear in a context, although some people have used that theology or that philosophy in a negative way. But when we talk about fear, we are talking about you coming to that place where you are able to make them realize that for every action you do, there's going to be a feedback reaction from you that will be a judgment to that your action. For example, now in Christianity, there's something we call fear, the fear of God. It's not the normal kind of fear we talk about, that you are scared of something. It is a kind of fear that comes from reverence, that this being is the one that created me, and he has the parameters of judgment for every of my action, and it's not biased. It's an incorruptible judge. So it's not the kind of fear like the kind of fear we fear the Fulani herdsmen. That is a negative kind of fear. There's a kind of fear you fear the judge in the court. You know that the judge does not have a personal issue with you. The judge is just administering the law, and the law is not biased. If you fall on the wrong side of the law, you eat judgment. If you fall on the right side of the law, you get pardon. That's how it works. So you being a leader that people fear, you should not be a leader that conjures negative kind of fear. You should be a leader that people respect to a point that they've come to know you, that you have the right judgment for every of their action. So then in university we have lecturers that were strict. They were not wicked, they were strict. There are some lecturers that are naturally just wicked, they are bad. They just like doing bad things to students. While there are some, they are not good. If you do good, you collect good. If you do bad, you collect bad. They are impartial. That's how they are. So 80% of the times, people always respected those lecturers more. Why? Because you know that if you are in his good side, if he tells you do this like this, you do it like that, he will be your friend. Tomorrow, you that is his friend today, you now do something he does not like, he will still hit you as if he's not your friend. Those kind of people, they respect them a lot. That's the best. So if he tells you read so, and you say you no go read because both of you bought him food yesterday and ate your food and he's your guy, he will fail you in the exam. I will tell you that I told you people to read this thing, and it was what I told you to read that came out. If you did not read it, I will not use you as my friend to pass you in this exam. You will fail the exam and write it again. People respected those kind of people more than just someone that is just wicked and a sadist that just likes failing people. So as a leader, you have to be autocratic in style. When we say autocracy is a system of government that is by force. You tell people you don't have a choice. You must do it the way I want you to do it. Whether it's good or bad, you must follow it like that. That's an autocratic leadership. It is not good. But there's something called participative or democratic leadership. Unfortunately, in our country now, we really don't know which kind of government we are doing. In the books, we are doing democracy, but in practice, we don't know whether it's democracy or autocracy we are doing. It is terrible. So, yes, you see 80% of the times, many Nigerians, when it comes to the government, they are anything that will make Nigeria government have joy. We intentionally just want to do the negative of it. Because the government is not helping us. So it's not motivating people to even 80% of Nigerians now. in as much as we love our country, we don't like Nigeria currently because of the government. Because of the government. Anything that you will do that will make the government benefit, the first reaction the Nigerian is giving is negative. What did they do to benefit me? Are they even doing anything about me? I'm not going to do anything. You are just angry with them. Why? Because the style, they are not motivating us to contribute for the better good of the country. But we don't have to be like that. We have to be patriotic. It's our country. If I could have a choice to change, I would have changed country, but they don't want me come here. I don't get where they go again. So I just have to own it the way it is. He said, no, you can relocate, but relocating or not relocating, you are in Nigeria, you are in Nigeria.
I'm not in Nigeria.
You said what?
I'm not in Nigeria.
You are not in Nigeria. No, now you can't. Now you can't. The truth is, whether you deny it or not, you cannot. It's just like a father will say, I disown the child. DNA na DNA, you can't change it. So you are in Nigeria, you are in Nigeria. So I would just advise that it's not something that, in as much as I'm not happy with my experience as a Nigerian currently, but I still love my country because God knew why He brought me here. He knew why He did not take me to Canada. He knew why He brought me here. If I had a choice, I would have gone to Canada. We think one bring me. Many all of us here no will come this kind of ways. God forbid why. But God in His good understanding and wisdom brought us to this place. So we just have to love the country. If I don't love it, an American will not love it for me. So we have to be very intentional. So the next, so theory X, he said, theory X of McGregor's theory, he said that employees are inherently lazy and we avoid work if possible. They must be closely supervised and motivated by fear of punishment or loss of reward. Every human being, this is not that some human beings are like this, while some human beings are like that. Every human being is actually both of them sometimes. It just depends on the situation. So there are sometimes you don't just want to work. Sometimes you are lazy. Not just as an employee, as a human being. So employees are inherently lazy and we avoid work if possible. In school, then there's a slang that was very popular. School be sweet too, but na exam na kill na spoil am. So what makes me wake up, go to night class by 12 a.m. and read till, or by 8 in the evening and read till 2 in the morning? It's not because I love to read. It's because there's a punishment that I know will be my portion if I decide not to read. I will fail, and I don't want to fail. That is now the motivation that makes me sit down in one place for 8 hours and be reading one book and try to put it inside my brain. On a normal day, wetin concern book, what's my business? Theory one is that employees are self-motivated, take responsibility for their work, and seek out challenges and opportunities for growth. So every human being can manifest this sometimes, depends on the situation on ground. The other one is related to SBEX hygiene factors, external factors. These factors include job security, salary, and working condition. So these factors may be the reason why an employee may not even want to work. I'm getting salary. What's the need of trying to push myself and want to do more? Let me just settle for less. Let me just remain where I am. But the other one is the internal factor. Factors include recognition, achievement, opportunities for growth. These are the factors that contribute to employees wanting to work, wanting to be innovative, wanting to go the extra mile, because they know that at the end of the day, there's benefit for them. Why these factors are consistent are maybe factors that may not necessarily motivate employees to want to do this. So, what makes employees have momentum are these factors. What makes employees have inertia are these factors. Inertia is the reluctance for a body to not want to leave where it is currently to another place. Inertia is what we call comfort zone. So as an employer, you have to constantly know where your comfort zone is. For someone now, your zero naira in your account balance is your comfort zone. So you are waking up and saying, "Omo, I have to leave this my father's house. Every day they are giving me food to eat. It's my comfort zone." Tomorrow your comfort zone will change. Comfort zone is always at every point in time. For every new level, there's a comfort zone. Every new level, there's a comfort zone. Every new level, there's a comfort zone. Someone used to be any salary of 100K, say, this place is not my comfort zone. I want to go beyond this. He started earning 1 million naira salary. From 100K to 1 million naira, he did a lot of upskilling, he did a lot of self-development and a whole lot of things. He increased, maybe he used to sleep till 8 a.m. in the morning. He started waking up by 4 a.m. to improve himself. At a point, 1 million naira became his comfort zone. He wakes up again and say 1 million naira is now too comfortable. I want to go to 10 million naira. He has upgraded again. So as an employer, you have to constantly bring your employees and yourself out of comfort zones consistently. Out of comfort zones consistently. And one of the ways you do that is recognition, putting achievement before them, dangling achievement before them. Opportunities for growth. It takes them out of their comfort zone. That is what makes the human being want to think, want to innovate, want to do things that normally they will not want to do. There are a lot of things we did in school. One of the things university taught me as a person was always taking you out of your comfort zone. When they just realize that you are becoming too relaxed, one day one lecturer will just give you one wicked engineering drawing to use AutoCAD to draw and tell you what you are normally supposed to do 1 week. He will tell you to use 1 night to do it. Naturally, that puts pressure on you. Normally, you will think you will not be able to do it until you are faced with that issue and you realize that, I can draw this thing for 1 night. You'll be surprised. That person has successfully mounted pressure on you to come out of your comfort zone, to teach you things to do, to give you the access and the opportunity to begin to think beyond your current state, to reach out for better things and to look inward, to tap into resources you have that you didn't even know you have. There's a whole lot of resilience a human being has that human beings don't know they have. And human beings don't know they have. It is very, very important. What's the time? Oh my God. All right, let's move. Okay. Theory X, people need close supervision to do the job properly. Theory Y, people are motivated by doing a good job. Number 2, people are lazy and we avoid work when possible. For the other theory Y, people want to work and be praised for what they do. So each person, you can begin to adopt which one you want. This theory X in itself now has a system you can create that can ensure that your business run using this theory X assumption to ensure that your staff are motivated and they work. You can also use the theory Y method. Depends on you which one you choose. So it's all about creating systems that work. Some companies, their staff are producing great results by their oga thinking with theory Y or theory X assumption. For some other companies, the boss is thinking with the theory Y assumption. But at the end of the day, the results are produced. But personally speaking, I think I will have to, as a person, I will adopt theory Y as a person. Because this one believes more in the intelligence of human beings. This one believes that human beings are like animals that you have to hit to do the right things. To some extent, you can do it and get results. But for me as a person, I prefer to use theory Y. Because theory Y makes you believe that human beings are intelligent and everybody knows what they are doing. So the person that decides not to work, he actually knows what he's doing. And what can I do to motivate a person to begin to think and make use of the resource of brain they have? I would love to use theory Y. You can decide to use theory X. Depends on you. It depends on you. So the next slide. I don't want us to. So practical ways to motivate employees. Number 1, recognition and reward systems. This one is self-explanatory. Someone does something well. Recognition does not necessarily mean you give them a plate or you give them money. Just that commendation you give them with your mouth gives them a sense of, yes, I did well. Recognition and reward systems, very important. Number, celebrate achievements publicly. Best marketer of the month. It's a way of motivating people to do better. Number 2, clear communication. Share goals, progress, and expectations clearly. When people are confused, they tend not to be motivated. One of the greatest causes of inertia in the mind of a person is lack of clarity. When you are clear on what to do, there's motivation because you know from this step to the next step, I know what to do. From this step to the next step, I know what to do. But when there's ambiguity, when things are not clear, things are vague, you tend to be very confused. And when confusion is there, you are not motivated to do anything. So a person that is confused is naturally not motivated. One of the greatest blessings a person can have is clarity. Knowing what to do and how to do it. It is very, very important. Well done, bro. Then we have fair salary and incentives. This is also another way to motivate your staff. When you pay them well, you give them bonuses, commission, performance awards, and rewards. It is also another way to motivate staff. The last, is that the last? Okay, number 4, career growth opportunities, promotions, training, sponsorship, mentorship. It's also another way to motivate people. Then we have supportive work environment. Some people are very interested in what they are doing, but the work environment is very toxic. A lot of, so the person is even afraid to go to office every day because he knows the place is not good for his mental health. If you can create a system where the people's mental health are guided and accounted for, it gives them a motivation to want to work, to want to do what they are doing. Team spirit, positive supervisor employee relationships, good comments about their work. It also helps to motivate people. The next, so workplace example, Indomie Nigeria do feed premier foods, motivate employees through welfare programs, performance bonuses, and continuous staff development. This reduces staff turnover. When we mean staff turnover, the rate at which staff are leaving your organization. That's staff turnover. The rate of employees leaving and employees coming is staff turnover. If the number of employees leaving is more than the number of employees coming, or the rate at which employees are leaving is equal to the rate at which employees are coming to your business, it's not a good thing for your business. It should be that every year you are employing new staff, but a lot of the old staff you employed last year are still in the business. They are still retained. So you are employing for expansion, not employing for replacement. It is very, very important. So the better the staff turnover, the better your business for you, the better the growth of your business. So this reduces staff turnover and keeps morale high. So that's it. So I think that would be all for today. That would be the end of today's class. And I want to really appreciate every one of us so far for our contributions and our dedication to class. Mama has been consistent. Miss Favor has been consistent. Miss Ose has been consistent.